want to stay in the EU?
No,
Is it because of the migration situation?
that doesn't help.
Do you think it has been a benefit so far to be in the EU?
No. I think we should get a lot of powers back to Britain, away from Brussels.
Do you think David Cameron will come back with a package that may be enticing and encourage you to stay?
No.
Want to be in the EU anymore?
Yes, absolutely.
Why?
Business reasons, really. It's easier for us to trade with the EU. It's better for British business. We've got access to labour markets as well. It's easier for us to move around Europe. So,
And the migrant situation hasn't made any difference to you?
well, not really. No. I mean, it's. I think in terms of where we are in Britain, I think there's less of an impact.
Would you like David Cameron to come back with a nice package that will encourage people to stay in the EU?
Yeah, I think so, because I think the way it's looking at the moment is it could go either way. I think that given that it's a referendum, I think most people are going to vote with their hearts rather than their heads.
Most of the employment law that we have now in this country is driven from Europe, and that has had a massive impact on the power of the trade union. So it's a kind of a shifting power between, I guess, what happens in Europe and what happens locally at the trade unions.
If there was a referendum this week, I would vote to be out of the EU. Because everything gets affected by us. It's an open door policy for everybody coming into the country. Our pensions are being affected, and I'm a huge supporter of Nigel Farage, and go him.
If David Cameron comes back with a good package, would you reconsider your decision?
I would reconsider, I would, but then it would have to come back with something really big, you know, that we can all benefit from. We're a very powerful nation. We can handle it on our own.
I think we should stay in, because I think it's ridiculous to think that if you leave, you would then negotiate better terms bilaterally with the 26 other countries. I just don't think it's realistic. And I think that it's as much kind of xenophobia as it is any of the economic or political arguments. I think it's actually about people wanting to be this stereotypical view of like old Islander English.
Do you think what's been happening recently with the immigrants has had an influence on how you're thinking at the moment?
I think, to be honest, I would have had the same view before. I think it's more galvanising the opposite argument, the argument that for us to leave, because there's a sense that, well, I guess it's true, we would be able to have better control of our borders, runs the argument if we left. But I think that denies the problem. Like, putting up a wall doesn't solve the Syrian crisis.
What about if David Cameron comes back with a nice package saying we've got an awful lot of concessions? What would you think about that?
Well, I would vote to stay in almost regardless. So I would hope he gets something that he can sell to his Eurosceptic backbenchers, because that would strengthen the likelihood we stay in.